Hey guys, Chad here from HR4 Racing. Chase ain't here. He's getting ready to go out of town tomorrow for his job. So I don't know how much he'll be around, but I'm going to try to get done what I can. Last video, we got the X bracing done. It turned out pretty good, I think, I hope. You know, we did the best we could do. And this video, I need to get our engine that we're running in the car. Because I got to start getting everything figured out that hooks up to the car. Three things mainly would be the radiator. I got to get it figured out how we're going to do it. That's going to be a big deal. Our power steering, that's an obstacle because they don't make a lot of stuff for Chrysler. You know, as far as brackets and stuff like that, so you can mount a pump. This has a sweet steering box on it, so, well, I mean Chevrolet steering box regardless. We're going from Chrysler to Chevrolet, so it's something I got to figure out. And headers, we had to figure out our headers. So that's why I got to get the engine in. So I'm going to focus on doing what I have to do to get the engine in, and I don't know how far I'll get from there. I think I will start on the radiator first because there's going to be some fabrication involved there. So I'll probably need to try to figure that out first. But first things first, like I say, got to get the engine in. So in order to get the engine in, I have to change the oil pan. Here's our engine. I got to take this oil pan off and put this oil pan on. So I'm going to get started, so hang out and we'll see what we can get done. Alright, let's get this oil pan off. Got my heater going right here. It ain't much, but it's a lot. You know, it's freaking cold, man. But if you're working just in one spot, that little heater does a pretty good job. Alright, we got the oil pan off. Everything looks good. Everything looks clean. Now, I've got to get this windage tray off, which is a little trickier than it looks. Well, kind of. I don't know. It's tricky to get on. Let's say that. Okay, now that's how you do it. All right, now I have to, I'm gonna take these studs out and put just some regular studs, because these studded studs we're gonna use in Dad's engine probably, because he'll probably use our front sump oil pan. The oil pan we have, it's got a windage tray in the oil pan, so we don't need them. So I got to replace them with regular studs. And I would like to note, if you notice, we have a stud right here. This is where your oil pump covers this one. Normally you cannot fit a stud in there and have room for the nut, because your oil pump will hit it and your oil pump won't set down flush. It won't set down all the way. But and they actually, if you buy a kit from anybody, ARP or anybody, it comes with a bolt to put right there, because you can't, that's an issue with these. But we just got with our machinist and he helped us figure out a way to make stud work. First of all, you need a shorter stud, but what you have to do is you have to machine down on top of your cap where the nut bolts down to the nut surface here. Just machine it down. There's plenty of room to machine it down, and then you got plenty of room to put your washer and your nut on, and then you can run a stud there. Which, I mean, what's the point of having studs in your main caps if one of them's a bolt, So I mean, that's what we figured out there, and it worked. So get with your machinist, he can help you figure out how to make it work. I'm putting the oil pump back on. We run a standard oil pump. That's all you need for these engines. They don't produce enough horsepower to need a high volume oil pump, so high volume would just rob you of horsepower, and sometimes it can even starve you for oil because it's pushing too much oil through. But anyway, here's the oil pump, and I got to put the pickup on. The pickup to this actually is made into the cover. So this the pickup that you get that comes with the oil pan from Kevco comes with a plug, and you plug the hole where your other pickup, where your pickup normally comes out of your oil pump. We plug that hole. Also underneath the oil pump, you know, usually when you get an oil pump, it comes with a paper gasket. We don't run a gasket on our oil pumps. We don't run a gasket because a lot of times, for one, you can't get a gasket. You gotta make one. Like, you cannot buy a gasket for an oil pump. And I think probably the reason is most people don't run a gasket because those gaskets fail and you'll lose oil pressure through that. Those gaskets will blow out and you lose oil pressure there. So to prevent that, you just don't run a gasket at all, and you don't have no problems like that. Notice, just so you know too, if you ever took one apart, see there's no gasket on the oil pump either. There's just no need for a gasket when you have two machine surfaces. Alright, so this is the pickup. See, it's made into a cover, oil pump cover, and that way it's strong and it gets it into your kick out on your oil pan. So you just bolt it straight back into the same place it was on your oil pump, and that's how you get the oil. And that's why it's very important that you put that plug in, or else, you know, you're gonna have some serious issues because you won't have no oil pressure, I'm sure. You torque these down about like torquing a valve cover down. The torque spec's only like 8 feet-pounds. So you don't get them very tight. They're pretty small. So you can break them easy. A Chrysler oil pan, the gaskets are a pain in the hind end. Because here's your the ones that goes on the outside. It has these little tips right here on both sides, and you got to pull them into these holes on your oil pan. Well, that's good if you get them in there. They hold in there good, but you can't hardly get them in there. I have pulled the tips off countless of these things. I mean, countless of them. It's just ridiculous trying to get them through the holes. You can do it sometimes and sometimes you can't. It's not very easy. So finally, I realized that if I just drill the holes out a little bit bigger, can't drill them too big, of course, you know, because you want it to hold. But you can drill them out bigger and you can pull them into the holes, and they will snap in there and not come back out, and it makes it way easier. And since I've been doing that, I haven't broke any more of the gaskets. So that's what I do, and it works for me. If you want to know the size I drill them out to, there's a big hole and then there's a little hole. So I drilled the big hole out to 1/4 inch. I drilled the small hole out to 3/16. Then I just put a little oil on the tip of it and take me a pair of pliers. and pull it through. There. It still wasn't easy to pull through, even after I drilled it out. But once it goes through, it's in there. It won't come out. Even drilling it out bigger, it won't come out. But I'm telling you, it's... My dad's pretty good at pulling them in, but to me, it's not worth it. You mess up too many gaskets, and it ain't like they come in a package with more than one, so you can keep messing up. You know what I mean? To me, that works, and that's just how the mule pans are made. I don't know why they're made like that. Maybe used to the gaskets were different, you know. I don't know, but anyhow, that's what I've figured out. That works for me. I will also pile a little bit of RTV right in here on the inside of the gasket, and that helps keep the oil from pushing that gasket out. Once you get pressure in there, it can push that gasket out right there. So I just pile a little bit up on the inside right there, and I'll put some on the outside right here, because once I start torquing this thing down, I'll only torque it so far initially, and then once I get it torqued so far down, I'm going to let it set for a little bit before I do my final torque, to let that RTV kind of set a little bit, because when you torque it down, as you torque it down, it has a tendency to push the gasket out. So that helps me with my gasket. I've got the oil pan on and torqued down somewhat. I've got it torqued down enough to know that it's pulled down and the RTV is pressed out, flattened out, you know. So I'm gonna let it set overnight to let the RTV dry, and that way it'll stick that gasket better before I do my final torque. Alright, the oil pan is torqued down. I'm getting ready to put the engine in. Got it all ready except for one thing. I gotta change, after I get this plate on, I have to change my dowel pins that line it up with the bell housing. I gotta put some longer ones in. Our other engine, or not our other engine, our other chassis had a thinner mid plate, because that's what we had to run with that automatic, and the stock dowel pins were long enough, but they're not long enough for a 1/4 inch mid plate. So I gotta put some longer ones in, and then I'll be ready to set it in the car. All right, I got the dowels in. That's got me 5/8 in the block. I got a 1/4 inch for my mid plate, and it gives me 5/8 to go into my bell housing. So that's perfectly centered up, and that's plenty to go into both. So that should work out well. All right, the engine is in. Here it is. It's in the car now. Our baby, our baby is in the car. Our engine, our race engine that we're going to be running is in the car now. That's a big deal. I get a little giddy about it because, you know, this was the biggest thing we had to get done this winter. Actually get our engine in. That's the whole core of everything that's going to be built around it. You know, everything's going to be attached to it. The engine had to be in first, and now it's in, so we can move on to the next step. Didn't come without its challenges. You know, as always, if you're going to be in this business, you better expect to have to overcome some stuff, because it's challenging but rewarding, right? You know what I mean? That's what makes it satisfying. I think that's a big part of why racing, you know, means something to somebody, because, you know, it's never jump in, turn the key. It's always, you know, turn the wrench first. You know, you got to put work in, and anytime you put work into something and then it turns out good, you know, it feels good to look back on what you had to do to get to that point. So I'm pleased so far. I'm pleased at where we're at right now. I am. Wish Chase was here. He's still off out of town working. I know he's going to be happy when he gets back to actually see it in the car for the first time. But now I'm going to go ahead and call this video so I can get started on the next step, which would be putting the radiator in. Or, you know, I had to do some fabrication to get it in, but I'll be working on that in the next video. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe if you will, man, and you can keep watching our videos if you like them, and see our past videos then. Share them with anybody that you might think might also enjoy them. We like to get our videos out there. We enjoy making the videos. It's fun for us, and it lets our family and friends see what's going on. And we meet new friends through it. You know, we've got few of our followers that I'm starting to learning who they are, and they always make comments, and I appreciate that. I appreciate them, appreciate everybody. So like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.